powered by Black Pitch Coffee and blackpitchcoffee.com. So that means we go to Hogansville, catch up with our friend Mike Petite, and find out what's going on with the Callaway Club and the Callaway Club. So what's going on? What's going on?
Just a busy time of the year, as you well know. So you're cranked up full speed as the rest of the state is right about now.
Yep, and I have my brackets, and I'm trying to follow along as best I can. So when we went to go and visit in the big region matchup a handful of weeks ago, and it was knockdown drag out, which is what we anticipated on both the boys and the girls sides. What did you learn about the teams on that night that carried you through the rest of the regular season?
The girls, what did I learn about the girls? That is kind of who I thought we were and were waiting to be. I think that it's taken the girls a little bit longer to kind of get to a team where we are consistently battling for 80 minutes. We've had ups and downs where we haven't competed all the time, and there's been times where we just haven't had to. But to be able to put that consistent performance in against a team like Morgan County with Coach Stamps out there, she's so good with them. It was really good to see us, and we've been able to do that pretty much ever since. I wouldn't say every single time because, consistency for anything at this level is pretty hard to come by. But for that night was good for us. For the boys, it was a continuation of, are we going to be disciplined? And we learned that lesson going back into February when we played Mount Perrin at Mount Perrin. We had just a disaster of first half. We're all out of sorts. We're lucky to only be down 1-0 and just had a real good figure it out sort of session at halftime. Boys responded super well. And from there, our mantra has just been, if we are disciplined, we will have a chance. And that was a very disciplined performance from us, despite all of the other things that was happening that night. And we've been able to just be able to be that team for a while.
When you have a figure it out session, as you call it, at the half, obviously you got to kind of do it on the hop. You can't just sit there and it can't be war and peace. It's got to be Cliff's Notes. So when you have a figure it out session and you're having to do it in Cliff's Notes, what are those conversations like, other than hopefully not shorthand looking like you're trying to bring in a plane over at the airport?
Yeah, well, there's a lot of cones getting thrown out on the ground. There is a lot of really bad handwriting and scribbling on a dry erase pad or dry erase, clipboard and stuff. But the guys are learning a lot about soccer. We have a lot of guys who are now real soccer fans. They're real soccer aficionados. They watch a lot. They understand the game. And so when we talk about making some of these adjustments tactically and that kind of thing, they pick it up really quickly. And so in the 10 minutes that we're throwing 1,000 things at them, excuse me, they were able to pick it up really well and executed. And we continually make adjustments and we're continually trying to teach them more about the game every single day, as instead of it's just this is the way it goes. We tell them all the time, the game evolves from day to day, from team to team, from minute to minute sometimes. And if we're learning as we play, then we're going to be better throughout the 80 minutes. And that's really helped us.
All right, so we go a bracket at a time, and since we are a chivalrous lot here on the morning show, let's start with the girls. And for those following along in pen now, it's low right, and it is a matchup against Ben Hudson and Hart County, and they get a piece of history, and you get to be a piece of that history. It's their first ever, if I'm not mistaken, home matches for the boys and the girls in the postseason, so you've got to go from Hogansville to Hartwell, the game brought to us by the letter H, and go up against a team that has and a program that's been on the build the last couple of years. When you were looking at tape on the girls' side, what did you see?
You see a really, really good team that has a good identity. Coach Hudson brought his boys to us last year, as a matter of fact. So we're returning the trip with the girls this year and stuff. And he's in the same position I am, doing double duty with the boys and the girls and stuff. So I'm sure we've both had some long, late nights, and we'll sleep well, or at least sleep this weekend. I don't know if we'll sleep well, depending on what happens, but at least we'll sleep this weekend. Yep. But they're a really good side. I mean, you look at them and they're like 14-4, and played all kinds of competition and stuff. And they obviously have a big dog who you're talking to today with the Hebron Christian, and they're so good with that program that they got up there. But they stood up to them and went against them really well. So, we're going to have our work cut out for us. It's a long drive. We're trying to make those plans and those arrangements on how to handle that trip the best we can. And, I know they're going to be super excited about, hosting a playoff game, as we are, and we have been and stuff. See what we can get up there and do. It'll be a good competition, as you well know, when we step on the field, we tend to make things at least exciting.
Yeah, and I'm this is one of those that I'm really looking forward to because of all of the different subplots that are attached with both of your programs. AA on the bracket on the whole. For someone who hasn't wandered in to see AA on the girls' side this year, what are they missing out on, and what do they get to jump into now here in the postseason?
Well, you have a team in Pike County who we see all the time. I mean, twice a year, which is 2 times too many as far as I'm concerned. That are just really, really good.
Yeah.
And then you have a group that is in the same region up there, the Sonoraville, the Coahuila Creek, the Union County, who have just gone at it with each other, and they're really good. And I mean, one of them is a 3 seed, and goodness gracious. And then you got the Columbus side as well. You got the Columbus girls are historically good. And so, you think, it's just AA soccer. It's these small schools and especially for girls. And yeah, wag the finger big time because these girls can play. And it is good quality soccer. It's not kick and chase. It's not whatever happens. It's disciplined, organized. It's tactical. You got good coaches on these sides who can really get these girls to understand the game, and you're seeing high-level play.
All right, so that one is tomorrow in Hartwell, correct?
Yes.
What time is kickoff?
6 o'clock.
All right, so then that means you're leaving basically after breakfast, right?
Close to it. I think we're scheduled to get the girls dismissed about 10:30. We do have a charter bus, thanks to the Troup County school systems, to hook us up, which is awesome. So we don't have to be on a big yellow fella going that far. So we'll hit lunch on the way. We'll hit a little break. We'll try to stretch some legs sometimes and get up there, and then hopefully have a good ride home.
All right, yellow fella. I'm gonna have to remember that one because I'm used to calling them yellowhounds.
Oh, okay. I hadn't heard that one.
And so my dear friend Tommy Palmer, who would call them the Yellowhound buses. Yellow fella. I'm going to have to remember that one. All right, so I'm going to put the AA girls to the side and bring up the boys bracket now. And this is where you get your home game. Tattnall County, the Battle Creek Warriors get to come over from Reedsville, and I'm guessing that they're going to be leaving Friday about the same time that your girls are leaving to go to Hartwell, probably just after breakfast. And the 24-9, you've got them coming to your place. What's study hall been like getting ready for Friday?
Nerve-wracking because these guys play in just a knockdown, drag-out region. I mean, who knows who is going to win that region because all of those teams are good. And then, they play that region tournament, which ends up almost being not a crapshoot, but just like, wow, you got to play somebody 3 times in a really strong region, and you are going at competition every single night. And then you add to it, Coach Kicklighter, who has got a program down there. He's got a state championship. I think he was in the state semifinals 2 years ago or something like that. So you got a guy who knows what he's doing, who's been where, heck, we haven't been. And so he knows how to prepare his guys for runs in the playoffs. So he's going to have his group ready regardless if they had to go 4 hours or 14 hours. It doesn't matter. He's ready to go. He didn't hesitate when we picked a date at the time. He's like, let's go. He was ready to play on the parking lot on Sunday, I'm sure. And so we've been working hard and trying to keep fresh and do some things that maybe we haven't done in a long time in practice, just so it's not so routine. At this point in practice, you just get almost tired of it. We've had a week between our games and we're like, what do we do? We are who we are. We're not going to change our tactics or our game plans and that kind of stuff very much. So how do you keep everybody involved? How do you keep them motivated rather than, hey, we got a big game and kind of stuff? So we've really done some different things in practice. We've drawn up some or found some new activities and drills for them to do, and the guys have really responded to it. They've had a good time in practice. They've been bought in. They've worked hard. It's been messy sometimes because when it's new, it's not always goes really well. But the effort's been there, and that's all we can ask.
Okay, so what are these new things that you've discovered that you're implementing here? Are we talking like drills, or what are we talking about here?
Yeah, it's just something we haven't done as a small sided game or a conditioned small sided game. We're bringing in different goals, we're bringing in different restrictions and stuff. It's all probably variations of stuff that everybody has done somewhere, but we've seen this or seen that or picked this up or said, hey, you know what? We haven't done this in a while. I've gone back and looked at old practice plans and said, hey, remember that drill? And we're like, oh yeah, we can do that. And so we throw out something new. It's like a new puzzle for them to figure out. And instead of, okay, yeah, we've done this drill 15 times this year, let's just do it again. And so there's something at least new for them to do and, get them looking forward to doing something different. I don't know. It might work.
Well, but I mean, at the same time, though, it gives you guys as a coaching staff something to talk about, because if it's like, hey, we're bringing in this new drill, and if they don't get the new drill and they don't get the new activity, then it gives you a different kind of an opportunity to sit there and get them back to 100% to get them to focus. Because if they get lost in the thing that they've done 15 times and it's like, okay, yeah, we're going to do this one again, then you bring in something new and they've got to turn that mental sharpness back on because it's something they haven't seen before.
Right. That was sort of the thought process, is we can do the same old thing and harp on getting it perfect. But we know the game's not going to be played perfectly. So let's do something where we can make sure it's high energy, high effort, and have them thinking a little bit more than just, okay, I've done this, let's do it again and again. We've even changed up, like, we always start our practices after we stretch and do a couple things with just some sort of passing pattern and stuff, just try to bring it. And we have 3 or 4 that we've gotten really good at. Well, we threw something at them brand new just the other day, and they were like, oh, hey, this is different. We hadn't done this. And we're like, yeah, that's the idea. and so from there, we knew, okay, they're going to be bought in. They're going to want to do something new and different. And so the past 3 days have been finding something we haven't done before. And here we go, guys, let's try this. And it's been okay. It's been pretty good.
And this is your division of labor question, because you have a girls team heading to Hartwell, and you got a boys team that's staying home. I know that the difference in the schedule dates helps you out in this, where you're not having to be at 2 places at once. And it's like, okay, I can't go to this game, I'm going to go here. You guys take care of this. When it comes to postseason and getting ready, when one's on the road and one's at home, what's division of labor like, and how much time are you spending one to the other? What's your breakdown?
Well, nothing has changed for us as far as practice planning and how the practice runs and stuff. We've talked about it before. We run basically an overlapping practice. So this week, the girls have been early. They come in at 3:40. They go till about 5:15, 5:30-ish. The boys come in at 4:30 with Hunter, my lead boys assistant, and he takes them through their warm-ups and passing and stuff like that. And then when I wrap up with the girls, I go over with the boys and finish up with them. So that is what we do weekly. We flip-flop who goes early, but that's how we've run things, and it's gone really well. Again, the only reason it's gone really well is because I have the best assistants ever. I got 3 different coaches, actually 4 different coaches, who are able to come in. I got 2 with the girls, 1 full-time with the boys, and my goalkeeper coach who goes both directions and stuff. And so they have been around the program for a good minute. I have 2 of them who are former coaches or former players of mine, 1 who is a former parent who had 2 girls go through the program. So they're, indoctrinated into the Callaway Kool-Aid, for the lack of a better term. And so they know what we're all about. And so I could literally just send them on their way and say, here, this is what we're doing. They know what we're talking about as far as, like, when we write up a practice plan or this and that, bam, there it is. And it's all good from there. So that, so that works really well for us.
Yes.
And so that division of labor is not a worrisome thing
Okay.
for us. And then when I travel on Thursday, our boys are, again, Hunter will just take over the boys and run the last bit of practice for us, getting us ready. And then they're hopefully going to be able to, I think they're going to plan on meeting in one of the classrooms and watching the girls game on the NFHS network. So that'll be cool.
There you go. Yeah, the Callaway, I guess, is probably the best way to.
I like that.
Look, the national team has the U.S. way. You got to have the Callaway.
We'll take it.
So then, when you have that Venn diagram there at practice, have you ever thought of crossing the streams and having some integrated practice with the boys and the girls in that in-between time, and to sit there and it's like, okay, I want to see how you kind of go up against each other. I mean, don't hurt each other and don't do anything.
Right.
But have you ever had that idea of the Venn diagram when they cross over? And
we've done it a few times. It's hard because the boys want to go show off because they're just bigger, stronger, faster. And of course they're boys. So that's what they do. The girls kind of roll their eyes because the boys are there trying to do stuff. And so it really hasn't worked terribly well. We've run our JV guys against our girls, which have been a good matchup and that kind of stuff. But no, not too terribly much. We hadn't done it a whole lot.
Okay. Once again, recapping, boys heading to Hartwell. When is that? Tomorrow?
Girls are heading to Hartwell tomorrow at 6.
Yeah. Okay. So
boys host Tatnall Friday at 7.
There you go. Okay. So that's the rundown. That's your AA brackets as you're filling them out in pen. And I can't thank you enough because I know sometimes we have the noon show, but at the same time, if this is better during this time of year when you're teaching and practicing and all this kind of stuff, I'm glad we could do this and have you hop on the morning show and be a part of the madness here.
Hey, I am always happy to be here and part of the program. I thank you so much for doing what you do for Georgia high school soccer and heck, soccer across the Southeast. It's so awesome to see it and have it just be such a big part of our culture down here. So it's a big part to you. So thanks for having us.
Be good and just be safe, and we'll catch up on the flip side, my friend. We'll see you soon.
Sounds good. Appreciate it. Thanks, John.
There goes Mike Petite, and the head coach and the head coach at Callaway and Callaway. Boys and girls AA, they are getting ready for the girls heading to Hartwell, and they're going to go up that way. And then the boys are hanging at home in the 24-9 matchup as Tatnall County comes to visit. I'm anticipating the over. Maybe 2.5, 3.5, something like that. But no, it's going to be fun. Opening round of the playoffs started yesterday at noon. We'll go over it in depth with Daniel Cornejo, and we're going to find out what life is like for him in Vienna and to Dooley County. And then we're going to catch up with our friend Chad Griffin at Hebron Christian. And then we'll go over the brackets as they happened yesterday. Not everything happened yesterday. You have some games, and you get to navigate this if something's better with travel or something like that. And you can have merges like we're going to have on tomorrow with Cambridge and Ola. So we're going to do the boys and the girls back-to-back. They came up with a common date, and so it's going to be a back-to-back doubleheader. We're going to be there in Henry County, our first time to catch up with the Mustangs, and it's going to be at 6 and 8. It'll be a combination of Jason, Drew, and myself.